All right, on to the third series of the drag and drop editor basics within Customerio, which is this bottom section of content. And we'll go through these last three options of what you can add into emails. So video, icons, and text, and we'll get right into it. So I'm going to drop this video block into the email. And hopefully you already know this, but the idea of putting a video in an email is actually not true. You can't add videos into emails and watch them natively yet. Maybe someday there's going to be a way to do that. So what all this is really doing is it's adding a thumbnail of the video and adding some treatment to make it look like you can play. And then there's a link that'll take you out to that video page. So two links are supported right now, YouTube and Vimeo links. And it's pretty simple. You click into the block, you will drop the YouTube URL in, and once it has a second to think about it, it'll pop in the thumbnail that comes from the YouTube channel. You can see what I was watching recently. One nice thing too is it'll automatically bring in a title for that video. One of the treatment things it does is add a little play icon here on the top, and you've got some different options there in terms of what that button looks like. You can go in on light and dark. You can change the size and increase it a little bit. And then there's your standard block options with padding and hiding it on desktop or mobile. Okay? Pretty simple. And again, it's not an actual video, it's a link out to a video file. YouTube or Vimeo. Icons. Now, this is just kind of a shortcut version of, if we go back to content and image, again, icons are just adding images, but what it does is it gives you some like shortcuts to how you would treat these, very similar to how the social icons here at the bottom work. So it's probably more similar to the social as opposed to images. But what it allows you to do is that you can add anything you want in terms of like a small image icon size. And you can add multiple, okay? It will neatly put these icons within a row. And then if you want to change the image, you can click change image, you'd upload what you want, click it, and it'll populate in. Very similar to the other image experience block. You have the options to apply effects and more, which we won't get into. We've done in a previous video. It's very similar. You have the option of adding text below the icon. So if I wanted to say, like, this is a star, by default, it'll position the text to the right. You can do it to the bottom or even the left or on top if you want. I'm going to stick with the bottom. And by opening up the more options, you can then add a link type to make it go out somewhere else or do something. Again, because there's text involved then, you can change your fonts along with the color and their size and align. And there's your spacing elements. You can change the size of the icons, which will just apply to everything within the row. And keep in mind, if I have an icon that its actual value, like pixel size, is like 64 pixels, but then I choose to have a 128 pixel size image, you can see how it blurred out. So just your normal image. Best practices you'll need to be aware of: padding, and both for the images themselves and then the whole block are here as normal, as well as hiding on desktop and mobile. Okay. Blazing through this, let's get rid of that. Our last option is text. This is probably the most used element in the email editor. You add it in, and it's basically your normal sort of WYSIWYG text editor that you would see in something like Word or Google Docs or whatever. You can change font, your font size. You have the bold, italics, all the options that come with text editing. There are some shortcuts these special links will give you an immediate link to unsubscribe or view in browser. So you don't have to do much there. It'll just automatically drop it in along with the links, and you can actually see what the links would look like by clicking within the text and then the edit or insert link button, and you can see the liquid code there on how it's formulated. But it's just a shortcut. It's kind of nice. Merge tags will pull up all the attributes at the people level that you have access to, and again, it's just kind of a shortcut. I've ended up getting used to just typing it out rather than searching it because I'm used to the syntax. That might still be too long a thing that I do, but it's just kind of what the habit I've ended up building. So again, up to you. When I'm working with dynamic content and liquid code, I actually do like to work within this option. So what it'll do is it gives you a code editor. So when I'm creating if statements so that I want to show certain content if a value is populated, I'll work in here first. So I'm just going to do a bunch of junk here. It'll put it in, and then you'll add to liquid, and then it'll drop it back in. I believe, according to Customerio's docs, they want you to do that just because if you were to just straight out type like this and just say customer and put in your liquid code, whatever it might be, that it might not show up. I've never experienced that problem myself. So again, if you can always check by previewing, and then you might get errors or sending yourself a test. So one thing to note with colors, I do want to go through. You've got options to change font colors here, but you also have them here. So how it works is if I change the color of the text here, it will change everything within the block as long as it's not a link. If I come into the block and change this color, let's go to like a blue, it will change just what I highlighted within the box. What that also means is it overrides whatever I have set here. So if I were to change this color to a purple, that's kind of hard to tell. Let's go white. You see that this font didn't change its color. It's because it's overriding it. To get rid of that, I would highlight it again and then come to this remove color. And then it'll default back to this, and you'll notice that if I change, it changes with it, okay? Same thing for the link color. You can change the link color here, which would be by default. And then if you wanted to have different colors for each link, I don't know why you would, you can come here and do that. And again, it'll override what's here. You'll change line height and letter spacing in this side here like this. And then you've got your padding options. So those are the last 3 blocks. Hope that's helpful, and we'll move into more content and how-to soon. Thanks.